across the area.
WYFF News 4. Snow, sleet, or ice. Whatever the weather, the WYFF News 4 weather team is preparing for winter. In the next half hour, a look at what Mother Nature has brought us and what it could bring next. This is your winter weather forecast.
Hello, I'm Chris Justice. Thank you for joining us for our WYFF News 4 winter weather forecast. In the next half hour, we'll go over what you can expect this winter and how you can prepare. But before we can look ahead to winter's forecast, we need to look at what's normal. As a meteorologist, that's important when communicating winter weather threats. Some snow is normal, but a lot is not for our area. Now, an average season would bring us about 5.1 inches of snow to the GSP area. Now, that usually falls in January for us. Now, when I look specifically at what's normal for an average year, town by town, GSP sitting there at 5.1, but Tigerville closer to 6 inches, Walhalla 3.6, Clemson about 3.4, from Pickens to Anderson to Lawrence and Greenwood, all around 2 inches of snow would fall in a normal year. Now, for the mountains, it's a different story. For the Asheville airport, about 11 inches. You go to downtown Asheville, a little over a foot. Hendersonville, 7.6 inches. Brevard, 7.8 inches. Look at Mount Mitchell. Can you imagine that? 92 inches is an average year for snowfall there on the highest peak in North Carolina. You got Marshall, almost 20 inches of snow, and Boone, about 38 inches. Now, when I look at the snow breakdown per month, some snow is possible in November, a little bit in December, accounting for about 10% of our snows. But look at January. Almost half of our snows occur in just January. That trend goes down in February and March as we start to get a bit warmer. Now, as I look closely at snow by the numbers, it can fall as early as October 20th. That happened back in 1913, and as late as May 7th in 1992. Now, when you look at the last 4 years, it's left a lot to be desired in the snow department. 3.6 inches back in the 2016-2017 season. You look at 2018 and 2019, most of that fell in a December snow. And then last year, a little under an inch of snow for us at the GSP area. Now, we can see a wide range of winter weather, from snow to sleet to ice. Here's our Dale Gilbert with a breakdown on what makes the difference between what we see.
Have you ever wondered why we get the different kinds of winter weather instead of snow, which we want? No matter how much you wish for a good old-fashioned blanket of snow, certain things have to line up just right. First of all, we have to have cold air from the clouds all the way to the ground. And we have to have a storm system coming up from the Gulf to bring a lot of moisture to mix in with that at just the right time. Those snowflakes form high up in the sky, but if the air isn't cold enough all the way down, they can melt to just rain. Now, if at the lower surface we have a cold layer of air, that raindrop could fall through it and become sleet, a tiny pellet of ice. Or if it's just freezing rain, then that rain comes down, lands on freezing cold temperatures, and starts to form layers of ice, which can be the worst kind of storm in the wintertime. That's knocking out power and causing real travel problems. So to get snow, it needs to be cold from the clouds all the way down to the surface so we can enjoy our favorite type of winter weather and sing that song, "Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow."
Well, thank you, Dale. Those types of precipitation can prompt closures of schools, churches, and businesses. But how do officials make that call? School districts have a team of people at the ready to assess if and when they should delay or cancel the school day. Our Cedric Haynes talked with them about that process.
Winter weather and school closing. That's the topic we want to bring to you tonight as we talk more about the potential of school closings when winter weather arrives. Well, as we move closer to that risk, that threat, we wanted to find out, will those school closing days look like they have in the past? Well, for the answer with that, we're joined now by Tim Wallace, spokesman here for the Greenville County School District. And Tim, just tell us a little bit about how these began and what you guys do to kind of decide those days.
Yeah, we're a big school district, Cedric. We're the largest in South Carolina, so we know that when weather strikes, what's happening down south in the county isn't always the same as what's happening up north in the county. So we actually have a dedicated team of people that get out very carefully in their vehicles and drive around to some of the different trouble spots in the county. And then they compare their notes and make one big determination. Is it safe to put school buses out on the road? Is it safe for parents to be in their car with their children and delivering them to schools? And if the answer is no, we say either we're going to close the schools, we're going to keep them open, or maybe we'll have a 2 or 3 hour delay on a certain days. But we err on the side of caution.
Side of caution. Caution is always good there, but now this year, of course, 2020, things have changed just a little bit recently. So tell us how that may or may not impact this way of maybe dealing with winter weather and school closings.
Yeah, a little thing called e-learning. COVID-19 brought us that. We were moving in that direction anyway, I think. Yeah, the coronavirus put school districts across the country, including ours, in a position to where we have equipped all of our students with Chromebooks. So what does that mean for a school day? Well, it means that even if we don't have an in-person attendance day, kids can still get their instruction via their Chromebooks, and that's what we plan to do. We have it all rolled out right now. Kids are doing it, so we're thinking in the event of a snow day, we'll certainly be able to do it then too.
And so there you have it, folks. It all comes down to those fancy Chromebooks out there the students have. And of course, also, as we continue to move along, we want to let you know, of course, the meteorologists, we don't have any direction of making on those decisions that occurred there. But I'll tell you what, we'll be checking back in with Tim and the rest of the crew as they continue to monitor the safety for the students here as we continue as winter weather moves into the area.
All right, thank you, Cedric. 2020 has brought us a lot of twists and turns. We are navigating a global pandemic while locally facing a year with record-breaking severe weather. By May, the National Weather Service in Greer had issued 51 tornado warnings for the Western Carolinas and Georgia, more than any year to date and more than anywhere in Tornado Alley by that time. 2020 started off with a winter tornado outbreak. On January 11th, 6 tornadoes touched down in the upstate.
Said the house shook, and then we felt a bang of something landing on top of our house. I thought it was a tree. I had no idea it would be that carport.
3 in Anderson County, 2 in Greenwood County, and 1 in Abbeville County.
We was driving, and the tree came this way, and I started crying. I was very afraid for my life.
February 6th packed a punch with a devastating tornado in Spartanburg in the Clevedale area. The EF1, as wide as a football field, had winds up to 110 miles per hour. The tornado strengthened as it moved along West Main Street toward downtown. It was on the ground for 10 miles.
It's like a war zone out here.
Then came the Easter night tornado outbreak, as ingredients came together for a significant threat for large tornadoes in the middle of the night. I want you to designate a weather watcher in your home tonight, somebody that can stay awake and watch these storms roll through. 7 tornadoes touched down within a 3-hour time frame. Just before 3 a.m., a violent EF3 tornado touched down in Clemson and moved towards Seneca with winds at 160 miles per hour, just shy of an EF4 in strength.
It was like nothing I've ever seen before or been through.
The twister took the life of a security guard working at Borg Warner, a plant that was under a COVID-19 furlough. Normally, hundreds of workers would have been inside. We toured the damage with homeowners after the storm.
And it was dark, and we just had 2 flashlights. I'm like, we can't do anything.
That night, another large tornado touched down in Pickens County, and it crossed into Greenville County, devastating homes with winds at 120 miles per hour. 5 other tornadoes touched down in Taylors, Easley, northern Oconee County, and in northeast Georgia that night. Just under 2 weeks later, another significant tornado. This time in Greenville.
There's a tree down. That tree actually fell right in front of the car.
A violent EF2 tornado, 400 yards wide, touched down along Pleasantburg Drive, just 2 miles from our studios. Please seek shelter right now in Greenville County.
We're taking a power glitch here.
So close, it knocked our power out.
We lost power there as
our generators kicked in, and we tracked the cell as it traveled 5 miles on the ground toward Wade Hampton Boulevard.
I'm just so happy to be alive. I can't tell you.
Another tornado touched down in Anderson on April 29th, and another east of Gaffney and Blacksburg on May 22nd. Well, the summer didn't slow down either. A record amount of tropical systems and a record amount of landfalls in the United States, with at least 2 in South Carolina. As many as 6 storms directly impacted our area. That combined to give us the wettest year on record. So we've had a lot of severe weather this year, but could winter weather, what could that bring us this year? Coming up, we'll take a closer look at all the types of severe weather that we could see this season and how it may impact you.
At Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries, live life comfortably.
Well, welcome back. Severe weather can happen 12 months of the year, and a pattern that we'll be looking out for this winter is the unusually warm weather that I'm expecting. And when that warm weather settles across the southeast, I'm talking 70s and 80s possible in the wintertime, it's bound to get cold at some point again. And when that cold air comes marching back in, we'll have to look out for that clash of warm and cold air. That usually leads to severe weather. And if you get some wind energy with that, maybe a low pressure system down here in the south, that can lead to potential tornadoes during the wintertime. Now, anytime severe weather strikes, you will see this alert day icon here. What does it mean? It means that strong or severe weather is likely to impact you or your family. It appears during the hours or the days that those severe weather impacts are possible. You need to have a way to get those warnings during those times. Now, an alert day example would be snowy conditions, ice or flooding, possible tornadoes or tropical systems or unusually stormy conditions across the area. Now, an impact day is a little bit different. You'll sometimes see this yellow icon. What does it mean? It means out of the ordinary weather is expected. That yellow icon appears next to the hours or the days that those impacts are expected. Extreme weather is not expected during that time frame. An example of that would be unusually cold or hot days during the winter, rainy conditions that maybe prompt a washout, foggy conditions, or even windy conditions, maybe even some flurries across the area. Now, as snow and ice move into our area, it's best to be prepared and have all of the supplies at the handy. Now, that could keep you safe and warm. Our Perel Lewis shows you what you should consider keeping in your winter weather kit.
And another way you can keep safe this winter season is by having a little bit of an emergency kit in your trunk. It doesn't take up a lot of room, but you can see I've got some extra water. I've got rock salt in case we have to melt some of that ice. I've got blankets. These are military blankets, but you can use the old-fashioned kind. I've got things to help keep us warm, including some socks and some extra shirts around. And of course, an extra battery charger and flashlight, always a good idea. Again, it doesn't take a lot of time to throw this in the back of your trunk, and it doesn't take a lot of room, but it's better to have this on hand and not need it than need it and not have it.
That's great advice, Perella. Thank you. Still to come, is there a white Christmas in our future? And when was the last time we actually saw one? Plus,
coming up, we have a professional driver showing you the right way to drive in snow and ice.
The WYFF4 app.
Sponsored by Ingles. Low prices, love the savings.
more than 100,000 people are injured while driving in winter conditions each year. And although crashes aren't always avoidable, there are a few things you can do to stay safe. Our Perel Lewis takes us through a driving lesson.
In our schools, we teach a lot of drivers about slide and skid control.
And learning to control a vehicle in snow and ice is crucial in winter driving.
In snow, you're dealing with low grip, a loose surface, right? In ice, you really have no friction at all.
So let's start with what to do when your car is going one way, but you need it to go the other way.
What we used to talk about growing up in the South, we talked about steer into the skid, right? And what that means is steering in the direction that the car is skidding. I always like to explain it as if the rear end of the car is trying to pass you on the right, you need to steer to the right.
In other words, give in to what your car already wants to do and practice CPR.
Oversteer, we use a technique to control oversteer that's called CPR. Correct, pause, recover.
Correct by turning into the skid. Pause by allowing your brain to catch up to what's happening. And recover. Get your car pointed in the right direction. But in situations where you have less friction, the advice is a little different.
In ice, and it's the same with hydroplaning, in a situation where you have no grip, the thing you don't want to do is make a big input to the car. You don't want to make a big steering input or a big brake input.
Because in icy conditions, your car is basically disconnected from the road, your reaction needs to be as minimal as possible.
People are always asking, what do you do in ice versus snow? Honestly, on ice, there's not a lot you can do.
But taking these tips with you on the road this winter can help keep you on the road a little longer and a lot safer. Perella Lewis, WYFF News 4.
Are you dreaming of a white Christmas this year? History shows it doesn't happen often. Our Dale Gilbert took a look back through the years to see how often we've seen snow.
One of the most beloved Christmas songs of all time is Bing Crosby's I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas. And we all like to dream of those perfect white Christmases of long ago where the blanket of snow is glistening with the bright lights of the season. Fires are crackling in the fireplace. Families gathered around the family tree. But wait a minute. How many times have we had a white Christmas in our area? Let's take the definition of a white Christmas as being 1 inch of snow on the ground on December 25th. Well, here's what I found. As we go back in the history book, back in 2010, 1.6 inches of snow fell on Christmas afternoon evening. We'll qualify that as a white Christmas, even though it came late. In 1963, 1.4 inches fell on 12/23 and hung around through Christmas Day. And then back in 1947, 2 inches of snow and sleet fell, and we called that a white Christmas. So you see, they don't happen very often. So Christmas is a special time every year, but that white Christmas is something that may be more of a sentimental wish than a reality based on where we live. But it's okay. Keep dreaming of that white Christmas.
Thank you, Dale. So you're saying there's a chance, right? Now, with winter weather comes some woes. Frosty windshields, maybe iced out wiper blades. Meteorologist Cedric Haynes knows a thing or two about preparing for winter weather. He joins us now with some hacks for you to remember.
Winter weather hacks. You come outside your door on a winter morning and you look at your car and the windshield is frozen over either by frost, snow, or ice. What do? Well, take a couple of home remedies out of the kitchen and it'll get you on your way very quickly. The first thing you'll need, a little dish detergent. You take a little dish detergent here and you put that right there along with a little rubbing alcohol. You take a little rubbing alcohol that you have in the medicine cabinet and you mix those together in something like this, an empty spray bottle, and you spray it on your windshield. By doing that, that will melt away all the frost, snow, and ice and get you on your way. Now we'll move along from there and take a look at your windshield wipers. Another way to help with that, when we typically have those ice storms here in the Carolinas, you want to make sure that you lift those windshield wipers, but also take something like an old sock and put over your windshield wiper. This will help from keeping it from freezing to the windshield. This will help you move along a lot faster if you don't have to worry about trying to break these bad boys off of the windshield. All right, let's go now and move over towards the side of the car. You get ready to look at your windshields here on the side here, your side mirrors, and you look at those and you say there's snow and ice building up on that. Well, instead, just the night before, take a little plastic baggie, cover that side mirror up, and that way you don't have any ice or anything building up there on the side mirror. Finally, you get ready to go into your car. You look, get ready to use your key and open up your car door, and guess what? It's frozen over. What do? Take a little WD-40 right here. WD-40, spray that on the keyhole. That'll melt away the ice around the keyhole. Spray a little bit more around the side of your window there, and that'll keep from snow and ice from building up across the area. So you get ready to get in your car. After using your de-icer on the windshield, you go to crank up your car and the fog develops. Well, take a little old sock that you may have stored in your car along with a little kitty litter. Put that kitty litter into your old sock, throw the sock on the dashboard, and watch as the fog, it just melts away. And one final weather hack I can give you, if you have an old car mat, take that out, put it underneath your tire, apply a little of that kitty litter that you may have left over on the car mat. That'll help give you some traction in the ice if you get stuck on some icy roadways, and that'll help you move right along. Reporting for WYFF News 4, I'm meteorologist Cedric Haynes.
Thank you, Cedric. We're now set. All right, coming up, your official WYFF News 4 winter weather forecast. We'll break it down in just a minute.
Check live Super Doppler 4 HD.
Time now for your winter weather forecast. The pattern moving forward looks like a La Nina winter. A closer look at that. Cooler water here in the Pacific. Those little changes there mean big changes in the United States. It means a relaxed southern jet stream. And for us in the southeast, that means overall a warm and dry winter expected. Now, when I look closer at the El Nino years compared to the La Nina years, La Nina gets about half as much snow. For you snow lovers, this is not a pattern you want to see. When we look closer at the La Nina winters over the past 20 years, only 2 of them have produced at or above normal snowfall. The rest have been just a nothing to a trace to a little bit below normal. Now, looking closer at this year's, the forecast looks like this. I do expect long periods of warm and dry spells. I do, however, expect there to be short but intense cold blasts. It is going to get cold. After all, it's winter. Those snow chances will be found during those changes, I think. However, frequent cold and snow looks unlikely this year. So I want to break down what the forecast looks like town by town. For Greenville County, I'm expecting mainly dry and warm weather. Now, an average year to bring us nearly 6 inches of snow. I'm forecasting about 2 to 3 inches. When you look closer at Spartanburg, Cherokee, Union, Polk, and Rutherford counties, a normal snow would be about 5.8 inches. I'm expecting about 2 to 3 inches this season. When you look closer, a little bit farther south, a normal year of snow for Lawrence, Greenwood, Abbeville counties will be just under 2 inches. I'm expecting maybe 1 or 2 snows that would give you a little coating of snow on the grass, a trace to as much as about a ½ an inch. When you look closer up toward parts of Pickens and Oconee County, of course, the mountains there have different conditions, but from Walhalla to Pickens south, a normal snow would be about 3.4 inches. I'm forecasting about 1 to 2 this season. And in northeast Georgia, of course, the farther north you go up toward the north in Stevens County, you get more snow, but on average, about a ½ an inch to nearly 3 inches will be likely. I'm expecting about a trace to 1 inch this season. In the southern mountains, Buncombe County to Henderson County, parts of Transylvania, Jackson, parts of Haywood County, a normal year would bring about 11 inches. I'm forecasting about 4 to 5 this season. And for the higher elevations, ski country, Watauga County, Avery County, back toward Madison County, a normal season would bring about 35 to 50 inches of snow. I'm forecasting about 12 to 18 inches. And for you ski lovers, we'll have to watch that pattern really closely. Now, a pattern to watch for this winter is after the cold air settles in, some of those frontal boundaries will stall out. And that's something we'll watch out for because the cold air is in place. And if you get some moisture riding up along those stalled out frontal boundaries, that's when I think we'll find our snow chances. And of course, if temperatures are right there borderline, the I-85 corridor can be a boundary that we'll have to look out for mixed precipitation, maybe even a little bit of ice. Well, there you have it. Here at WYFF News 4, we are committed to preparing you for any and all weather that may come your way and bringing you the most up-to-date information. Now, remember to download the WYFF News 4 mobile app. You can also turn on the alerts there to get the latest information about storms, school closings, and more. Just take seconds to download. Now, thank you for joining us for our WYFF News 4 Winter Weather Special.